name is Richard Benoit. Here I am again. Planet soup versus planet Earth. Why do I call it planet soup? Because the oceans are turning into a soup. We have just seen the blob. It's the ocean turning into a soup slowly from us putting too much salt in the ocean. Now, let's watch this a little bit.
Canada's west coast is also facing a threat from the sea. The menace is a massive stretch of overheated water, similar to one nicknamed the Blob.
Now, this overheated water is caused by a lack of wind. This is what the experts are telling us. A lack of wind can cause the ocean to go up 4 degrees.
5 years ago, it caused an ecological disaster, and scientists fear there could be a catastrophic sequel.
So it happened before, it happened again, and I'm afraid if we don't stop our nonsense with the salt situation, it will happen again. But you understand that salt accumulates. So the next time the blob comes, it will take less salt to achieve the blob because the salt's already there for the other two blobs. So now less salt will be required to create a bigger blob.
CBC's Bureau Chief Melanie Nagy reports.
A giant mass of warm water is brewing in the Pacific Ocean. A menacing marine heat wave hitting coastal waters from Alaska to California.
We now see this large area of...
As you can see on the television set over here, this is an earlier picture, and this is a later picture. As you can see, the red is the warmest part of the ocean. It's moving away from the coast. It's close to the coast, away. There's no salt in these parts of the ocean. Well, there's salt, but not man-made salt that we put in. That's why these parts are cooler. The salt has to get all the way to there. They're saying it's the wind, so there's no wind in this part of the ocean, but there's wind here, but no wind here. That's their excuse.
Worrying temperatures.
Peter Chandler is a BC-based oceanographer. For weeks now, he's been tracking the abnormally warm stretch of sea.
It's a large expanse of water. It's about the size of British Columbia and Alberta put together right off our coast. So that is something we take notice of.
The water, which is near the ocean surface, is about 4 degrees warmer than average. The temperature increase has scientists...
To achieve a 4-degree increase in the Pacific Ocean, you would require at least 7 nuclear bombs the size of Hiroshima to achieve that much energy, because this are a lot of energy to give 4 degrees to the Pacific Ocean.
concerned because they've seen the kind of damage it can cause.
That's the marine heat wave of 2014, 2016. It lasted quite a long time, and it covered quite a bit of area.
That swath of warm water was...
As you can see again, there was lots of wind over here. That's where the wind was. But there's no wind over here for some reason. Or, again, Vancouver Island, all the salt is coming down. They must have been using salt over here, obviously. But there's wind over here, somehow. So obviously it's not the wind, it's the salt gathering each time there's a massive cold winter.
called the Blob. When it struck 5 years ago, it impacted ocean oxygen levels, acidity, and a variety of marine species.
It led to a number of federal fishery disaster declarations along the west coast involving salmon and Dungeness crab especially.
Scientists say the blob also triggered a toxic algae bloom and led to a mass die-off of sea lions, mostly young ones unable to find nutrient-rich cold water fish. Veterinarian Martin Helena specializes in marine mammal rehabilitation. If the current patch of warm water persists, he says the west coast ecosystem could again be seriously damaged.
Cold water is very oxygen rich. It's highly productive. Cold water is really important for primary production in the ocean, and everything else relies on that.
Researchers have linked the latest marine heat wave to a lack of strong offshore winds that typically cool the ocean's surface. They also say climate change is a contributing factor. Melanie Nagy, CTV News, Vancouver.
So now you know why global warming is occurring. And we can reverse it now. These scientists don't know why it's happening, and they say it's not reversible because they don't know what's causing it. Wow. We have a little test here today. Here it is. The real blob. The cause of global warming. What causes the blob? The experts say lack of wind. It could be B, 7 nuclear bombs. C, oh, it's the oil industries. That's right. That was him already. Or it's a conspiracy. They want the world to catch on fire. Or it was the 7 million tons of salt. I'm going to vote for E. But the experts are at A. So if you go with E, that means you know the solution. We can reverse climate change. Water is 800 times thicker than air, so we're going to win. We have to take our own responsibility with the salt management on this planet. Filter out the salt. We need water everywhere. And bad experts ruining and telling little children they have no hope because they don't even know what's going on themselves. Well, if you don't know what's going on, let somebody else that knows what's going on do their job, okay? Because you can't get to people and say, it's irreversible when it is. You just don't want to see it. You want to blame the oil industry and put them under the bus. Oh, it was them. It wasn't them. I saw the blob, and the oil industry had nothing to do with it. It was Vancouver City, Seattle, Fraser Valley. Let's put some salt, and who cares? Well, that's why I'm a very happy fellow now, knowing that we can reverse climate change. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you like it, and you spread it around. Thank you. Have a nice day. So now I want to discuss it with you because have you noticed that all the red areas were touching the mainland everywhere? There was no gap in between, as if it comes from every mainland around the world. Shows that there's no gap. It's always red, mainland, red, ocean. It's the salt. And how powerful is salt, Justin?
Well, if it's at every mainland, it could be the big oil industries and the mainlands.
No, this is salt. Because there was a heat wave.
Can I look something up?
There was a heat wave, Justin. And there was no blob.
I'm gonna look something
And
up.
when there was the blob, there was no heat wave. So, why? How strong is salt, by the way? Salt lasts forever, melts ice forever. So how much power does 1 kilo of salt have?
I don't know.
So imagine 1 square meter of ice, 10 centimeters thick, and you put 1 kilo of ice on there. At 20 degrees below zero, it will melt that ice. You have to put it in a box though, you have to contain it. Then you take a blow dryer on the other box. You cover the box so the blow dryer stays there's no wind interfering. And you put the blow dryer there and melt that ice. This blow dryer will have to stay on forever because as soon as you shut it off at minus 20 degrees, that water will turn to ice right away. But not the one with the salt. It will stay there forever and ever and ever. It's got 1,000 kilowatts of power minimum per kilogram. So 1 ton has 1 million kilogram of power. They put 1 million tons of salt in Vancouver, and they ran out. Fraser Valley, Seattle, you're talking 7 million tons. So that's 7 trillion kilowatts of power to the ocean. That never goes away, by the way. So it gives more energy to the ocean and more energy and more energy. Never going away. Salt does never dissolve. The plants don't eat salt. The animals
it never moves around?
Who?
The salt never moves around.
Yeah, it moves around to make it more saltier everywhere.
But then why is it only in blobs and not the entire
Because it was a winter, and every winter time, traveling, commuting from one place to another needs roads and cars.
How does the salt go from the road to the
So
ocean?
they buy salt and they spread it on the roads. They buy it at the store, tons of it. They have salt mines. They take the salt out of the mine, put them in the truck, and send them to Vancouver, and they buy that.
But how does the salt go from the roads to the ocean?
Rain. It rains. It washes the salt away down the river, down the stream. Down. That's how the ocean got salted in the first place. Now you have to understand, Justin, that when the ocean has too much salt, it spits it out. By creating global warming, ice age, ice melting, and the salt ends up in a salt flat. That's why around the world there's salt flats. This happened before. Just that now we're making it happen faster because we are actually dumping salt every day. Everybody that's a human that lives near the Pacific Ocean that uses the bathroom is putting salt in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
7 billion of us every day. And in the wintertime when we put salt on our stairs so we don't trip, goes down the sewer.
So every time we go to the washroom, we put salt in the ocean.
Yes.
Then this would have been a problem since the 1800s.
No, but you see, I understand. Back in the day, you could buy your freedom with an ounce of salt. Yes, people don't understand that. Back a long time ago,
What
salt
does that
was...
have to do with them?
Because there was so little salt put in the ocean back in the day.
But you said...
But now, because we are accelerating our salt input in the ocean at an extraordinary, like really bad, like a lot. That's what you can see, that there is no such thing as El Nino is surrounded by fresh water all around it, so it doesn't come from the mainland. It's a different thing. This is a different kind of global warming. It's all that you can see. There's red spots here and there in the north of that atmosphere because these are cities. I bet you there's cities putting tons of salt. These were the cities putting salt.
Yeah. Should I turn this off? We don't need it anymore?
No, because at the end of the day, we can prove that the heat wave had nothing to do with global warming's oil industry because there was no blob, there was no nothing. And when the blob did come, there was no heat wave.
So do you think the salt's going to melt the icebergs?
Yes, that's the best job that ice can salt does to ice is melt it. And it never stops. So, in order to reverse global warming, you pump water out of the ocean, put the fires out everywhere, fill up the Hoover Dam, for crying out loud. It's 800 feet short. Like, come on, guys, wake up. Stop fighting the oil industries. You put under the bus. By the way, they have nothing to do with this. And they should be getting the contracts to build the pipelines and get their money back for all the heartache and money they lost building pipelines. Put a water pipeline behind it. Get it done. You don't believe me? Tell me you don't believe me.
I believe you.
Oh, now you believe me.
I believe you.
Salt is what's causing global warming.
I believe you.
Thank you. Now you can put it off now.
Thanks for watching, guys.